Alright, hey there. I'm just gonna briefly touch on Trump's just ridiculous rant yesterday, which was January 7th, 2025. But I first wanted to touch on that immediately after this ridiculous rant, CNN had a U.S. representative on, Himes, and asked him about Trump's comments on Greenland. And this anchor, she said, well, Trump stated that acquiring Greenland is for national security purposes. Do you think there is any credence to that? Ayo, you've got to be kidding me. This is the height of stupidity. Still, 8 years later, CNN and some of these media outlets, they still don't get it. They're just as clueless. It's amazing. This is an anchor doing the interview to a high-ranking U.S. representative. Okay, I declare that I'm from Jupiter. You know what? CNN would probably bring guests on to ask whether or not I could be from Jupiter. Then they would air my speech or rant in entirety, only to immediately afterwards replay clips of that rant. Then they would probably spend the next 10 hours of different segments replaying and talking about it, if I'm from Jupiter or not, and whether or not I meant it. I mean, I just don't understand. But, you know, one aspect of this, possibly, is why not bring up the Russia angle? And not, you know, this bullshit Russia, of course, here we go, Trump, Russia, same talking points. But I'm just saying, like, there's new and consistent over the past couple of years, new U.S. military training, new vehicles being produced specifically for the Arctic. There's natural resources beneath the ice, which is melting. Russia is very interested in the area as well. And, if we cause tension with Canada and Greenland to placate Putin, shouldn't rule it out. I don't know. I'm just saying, why not bring it up? But I'll touch on more later what I think the actual meaning behind some of this rant was in the Greenland and the Canada comments. But I'm just saying, at least just someone bring that angle up. Why not? It wouldn't be the craziest idea ever. It actually kind of would make sense. Especially on national security level wise, but yet for the Russians, since they're very, very interested in the Arctic zone and that being like the new sphere of potential conflicts in the years ahead. But back to this rant for a second. Just could you imagine if Biden babbled just 5% of the utter nonsense Trump said? I mean, wow. Like, it's sometimes so disgusting how hypocritical people are. It's like the stench coming from some of these soulless Republicans is just overwhelming. And not to mention the tech and libertarian podcast bros, where are they? Where are they during all this? Now they're silent? These people would be throwing a fit at how senile and unfit for office Biden is if the same nonsense was said. Where is the outrage? Trump's saying the wrong names. Cannon, is it Jan.7th? He doesn't seem to know. How whales are annoyed at windmills. More threats, of course. Oh, and how we should take or be given Greenland, Canada, the Panama Canal, and how the Gulf of Mexico should be called the Gulf of America. Where's the outraged libertarian bros? Already warmongering 1 week before even being president. Remember all that talk? Trump's the only one who isn't going to get us involved in foreign conflicts. These old school rhino Republicans and dems always with the warmongering and this conflict and that. This is just the height of hypocrisy. It's just astounding. I mean, if MAGA saw Biden do 1/10 of this, they would be blowing up the airwaves about how weak he makes the U.S. look and how it just is the wrong look for the United States of America for that to be the commander-in-chief. Meanwhile, when Trump does it, it's pound your chest. It's strength. It's a good negotiating tool. USA, USA. Do you see how pathetic that is? Do you see? So back to something else about the rant that I think, moving away from the hypocrisy from some of these Republicans and tech Bitcoin libertarian bros. I think one aspect of this rant on January 7th is almost to make it seem like he can never fail and that he's always the savior. For example, by making outlandish claims concerning Greenland and Canada or whatever's next, he wants to appear strong, which is why some Republicans will say, oh no, this is a good negotiating tool. So he does this as a way to rule nothing off the table, and it's strong. That's what I said earlier. Strong, strength, USA, USA. No, it's not. He wants to appear strong because if something serious materializes based on these comments of his, Trump can claim that he alone can fix the problem. Notice how he always says that in his speeches and his rallies. Sometimes I am your savior. I'm your savior. I'm the one who can fix it. Only listen to me. Don't believe what you see or what you hear. Just me. I can do it. Well, if you cause this crazy scenario, and then in order to extinguish the fire or to ease down tensions, you will be the one responsible for doing that. And everyone will look at you and be like, oh, well, look at Trump. He's a great negotiator. He's the only one who could do this. So he wants to appear as though he is the only person capable of solving anything. He wants it to always seem as though we as a country dodged a crisis. A crisis he manifested. So, for instance, if he rants about something that is on level 10, dangerous, crazy, out of control, but then he does something else and it plays out, but it's a level 2. See, we as a country are then going to feel relieved that at least whatever the level 2 was, it happened. But hey, it wasn't the level 10. Shoot, we dodged that. No, we didn't. He got us to the level 10, making us think something could. He either de-escalated it or withdrew his intention to use the military. He'll find some way where he got the country back to the level 2 from a 10 when it was just, it's all part of his like strategy to control, fear mongering. I'm the only one who can fix it. Or if that doesn't work, he'll just blame someone else for it not happening. He'll blame the military for not taking over Greenland. He'll blame some Republican congressmen or senators for stalling it. He'll blame the Democrats, of course, the deep state, whatever it may be. He'll blame someone for either his goal, his stated intention, or his stated crazy thing that he wants to accomplish for not happening, or he'll feed you nonsense that seems so just impossible to happen. Does he believe it? Does he not? And then when he goes back down here, it will seem as though he was the only one who de-escalated the crisis. And we forget that it was like what he said a week ago, because by that time, we're already going to have like 10 of these videos, because it's going to be every day of this. So he's either always the savior, or there's always someone or something to blame. That's what I think is happening right here. And just lastly, and this is important, so yesterday on January 7th, while Trump was going on about Greenland and Canada and Panama and whatever else, the Ways and Means Committee in Congress, the Republicans in that committee were crafting how to cut taxes for the 1%. Does that speak to you, Trump supporters? Maybe some, but the other ones, does that speak to you? Cutting taxes for the 1% billionaires that he's filling his cabinet with, that he hangs out with all the time, and who he looks after. Do you see? All these hardworking Americans out there. And Trump and his elitist friends in the top 1% are devising ways to pay even less taxes while you pay more taxes. Nothing about you, just about them making more money. And I believe that most honorable, hardworking Americans who voted for Trump, I don't think they voted for him to threaten our allies, call our enemies great, and cut taxes for his 1% billionaire friends. Don't most of you hate it and view the other side as elitist? Like if the tables were turned here, you know what I mean? And he did this 1 week. He's doing this 1 week before he's even actually president. They ain't even in the office yet. So, the liberal media should non-stop highlight the vast differences between Trump and most of his supporters who voted for him. Drive a wedge. The differences are just so vast. Do not get caught up on whether or not he really means his Greenland remarks. There are way too many similarities between the hardworking, honorable Americans who voted for Trump and the people who voted for whoever else, Dems, independents. There's just too much in common. Trump and that 1% billionaire only looking out for themselves just to enrich themselves is something that is not relatable to the two of us, to both sides, and we should narrow that wedge more because we are the people that make this country great. Thank you.